Hello, and from the administration offices here at CAPS Education Collaborative in Westminster, I'm Scott May. Welcome to North Central Journal. And we're happy to have joining us on our show this month the new executive director of CAPS Collaborative, Jennifer Gates. Jen,
Hi.
nice to see you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I know you climbed the ladder here at CAPS. You were, I guess, an internal hire is what they call it. You had been here how many years before you were?
This is my 8th year
Your
here.
8th year.
Yes, yes.
We talked a little bit earlier this week just about the show, and you gave me a little bit of background on yourself. And we want to get into that a little bit here just to kick things off. Your education career, where did that begin?
Actually, it began in high school. I worked for an educational collaborative when I was in high school and stayed working through college. I am a Fitchburg State graduate. And right upon my graduation, I began working for Fitchburg Public Schools. I spent 17 years of my beginning career at the McKay Campus School. I worked as a special educator, a counselor, and a regular educator there. And then I shifted to more administrative work and spent another 5 years with Fitchburg working out of central office as what we call an education team leader. And that role is really where that person runs all of the IEP meetings, all of the special ed meetings. And in the last several years in Fitchburg, I was what was called the out-of-district education team leader. So that position, I was responsible for all of the kids in Fitchburg who were in out-of-district placements outside of the typical public school. And so that is kind of how my connection with CAPS started.
Now, what inspired you to pursue this career at CAPS? You were in the public school system, now you're in a collaborative educational system.
So working in Fitchburg Public Schools, the students that I always enjoyed the most were students that, struggled with some mental health issues or with, social emotional learning, had some delays in social skills, things like that. My master's is in counseling. So those students really gave me the opportunity to combine my, education knowledge as well as my clinical knowledge. And so when the position that opened up here was to be the director of the program for students with social emotional needs. And it was just, I knew it would be a great match because those are the kids that, I enjoy working with and that I feel that I had, the expertise to, lead a program like that.
Now tell us what an education collaborative is. What does that mean?
I'm so glad you asked that.
You asked me to ask that.
I've been on a mission this year to really kind of get that word out. It's interesting how many people that you speak to, even in the field of education, that don't really understand what an educational collaborative is. So educational collaboratives were designed to support districts in providing services to students that they were unable to provide support to in the public schools. So we exist as an entity, and then we have districts that are our members, and we create our programming around the needs of our districts. So it's typically, we create programs for like low incidence students that it wouldn't make sense for them to have programs in districts, or for students that needs are just so significant that they require, a higher level of expertise.
Now, is that how funding is determined? Is it through other districts?
Yes, so we do not receive any funding from the state or federal government. Our funding is strictly from tuition. There are some small opportunities for some state grants, but it's nothing of significance. We don't get the same funding. Our budget here works very differently than a public school. We're a school that functions as a small business, really. But the other thing that I wanted to say about the collaborative is I don't know that people realize that we are a public school. We are a public school just as any other school, in the community. We're just considered a more restrictive public school, meaning that the students just needed additional supports than what they could get in the typical public school. So what that also means is that all of our employees, our teachers, they participate in the mass teachers retirement system, which I think is important for people who may be looking for jobs, or for them to know that they have the same advantage as any other public school.
Speaking of the teachers here at CAPS, are there any other requirements for teachers that come here that maybe not would be required of them in a public school system?
No, because we function like a public system, we're
Yeah.
held to the same standards that the department puts out for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So all of our teachers are licensed in the field in which they're teaching.
Okay.
So for the majority of our teachers, that is a special education license.
Right.
For our high school teachers, they hold content area licenses, so history, ELA, science, and many of them also hold master's degrees in special education with licensure there as well.
Tell us about the programming paths at CAPS. What does that mean, and then what are they?
Sure. So, as I said, we serve a very varied population of student. So we have different programs to meet students' different needs. So here in the building that we are in today is our Gateway program, which is a program that's designed to meet the needs of students who have social emotional needs, mental health issues, some high functioning autism. This program services a continuum of students from kindergarten through grade 12.
Uh-huh.
Okay. We have what's considered our satellite programs. What that means is those programs are programs that are located out in public school buildings,
Okay.
which is, so advantageous for our students as well as the students in the public schools. There's a lot of educating and learning, just about differences and challenges and strengths that takes place in those buildings. One of those programs is located at the Hubbardston Center School, and that's what we call our Kelly Day program. The students there present with more significant medical challenges, cognitive delays in communication, social, sensory impairments. Those programs have a very high staff to student ratio, sometimes 1-to-1 in the classroom. And the thing that's really great about our model there is we use what's called an embedded therapy model and embedded nursing. So that means that all of our related service providers go into the classroom. So our occupational therapists, our physical therapists, speech and language, they're all in the classroom as part of the learning and growth that's taking place in there. Versus in a lot of environments, you see what's called a pull-out model, where the kids are coming out to get their services.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So, that's something that, we're very proud of. Kelly Day, again, services students from pre-K to actually up to age 22. So after they're done with elementary school, they go up to the Quabbin Regional High School, where they have middle school and high school programs there. The focus in those programs is, again, these students have significant delays. So really looking at just more functional skills, gaining some vocational experience, functional academics, things like that. We also have, once the kids reach middle school and high school level, they have the option of that Kelly Day program, or they have the option to go to Maha Regional, which, again, that program has a little bit more of a focus on the functional academics, vocational, being out in the community, independent living, sort of, leisure skills, how to, be integrated in your community. And then we have a program called Links, and that is located on the campus of Mount Wachusett Community College.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the students aren't actually attending college courses, but they really are embedded into the social life of a young person in college. They participate in any clubs that they want to. They have a gym membership. They have a teacher there and a paraprofessional, and her goal is working on functional academics, independent living, and in preparing students for a transition to like adult community services. That program strictly services students 18 to 22, and they all have jobs on campus as well. So, and then in addition to that, we have our deaf, hard of hearing program. We got a lot going on
I
around
guess
here,
so,
Scott.
yeah. I
You didn't
guess
know this
so.
was going to be such a long answer, did you?
Well, I'm glad you're talking.
Let me take a sip of water.
Sure. The Deaf and Hard of Hearing program, that was one topic we wanted to get into because that program has grown through a partnership in Newton.
Grown.
Yeah.
It has grown. Again, it's now become a program that we have a continuum of services from pre-K up through senior year in high school, which is super important to us at CAPS. We want to be able to, when we take a student in, we want to be, if it's appropriate for them to remain with us through their school career, we want to make sure that we stay with us, that they can stay with us.
Yeah, sure.
We do good work and we want to keep them here. Unless, of course, they're prepared to go back to public school, and that's something that we take, great pride in as well.
So that is an opportunity for students?
Yes, absolutely, especially in the Gateway program. Our goal for students there really is to get them back to their big, beautiful public schools that, just have things that we can't offer.
Sure.
We have very specialized things to offer, and we want students to gain the skills to just get back and be in more of a typical environment. But yes, so the Deaf, Hard of Hearing program, the preschool is located here in Westminster. The elementary is located in Ashburnham, and our middle and high school program is now located in Newton. So
As of July 1st?
as of July 1st.
Last year, yeah, right.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about that program. I want
Sure.
to continue on that path, but that Newton relationship, how did that come about and how is it going?
Sure. So that Newton program was established, I want to say, in the early 70s, and had always been a part of EDCO Collaborative. And EDCO Collaborative had some challenges, and their board decided that it needed to dissolve, it needed to close. And it was important to them that they find homes for all of their programs, so that students weren't left without a program or the expertise that they needed.
Right.
And so they kind of put out the all call, here's what we have, and looked for people to engage in conversation about a partnership. And, folks here felt, well, we have a deaf, hard of hearing program. It was more the process of getting everybody to wrap their heads around the distance, and was that going to be okay, and was it still going to have benefit to our member districts. And what we have found is that absolutely the program is growing. Our families out this way are exploring the program out there. Once they realize all the things that it has to offer, it makes that travel time a little bit better. So and vice versa. You know, kids will come out that way to our elementary. But the partnership has it's been amazing. I attended a award ceremony out there a couple of weeks ago, and going in there, it was pretty amazing because the staff they couldn't say enough about us having taken them on and allowed them to continue, you know, the amazing programming that they do in the amazing location that they're in. So it was great. It's going really well. I have staff reach out and share that they have never worked for an agency where they have felt so valued.
And prior to that relationship, your deaf and hard of hearing program ended at what?
It
middle
ended
school?
at the end of elementary. There were times in
elementary.
the history of the collaborative that there were middle and high school programs, but you know, depending upon the number of kids, and you know, it's challenging to run a program for 3 or 4 kids.
Sure. Yeah.
So it just never, it just couldn't sustain itself, essentially.
So the relationship with Newton has added another aspect to that deaf and hard of hearing program that takes kids right through high school.
Absolutely. And the piece that's so amazing about the high school program is it's located at Newton North High School, which is an amazing building. But the piece that's so amazing about it is they're high school and they're also a vocational school all in one location. So it opened up amazing vocational opportunities for our students who don't always have access to that in this area.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned member districts.
Yes.
Let's talk about those member districts, how many there are, and then what other districts get kind of rolled into that picture.
Sure. So we have 11 member districts,
Okay.
and that, you know, they choose to join our collaborative. But we also have a number of non-member districts. You can send students to our program. The difference is that members have a particular price and non-members pay a different price for services.
Okay.
So at this point, in total, we're working with about 41 school districts in the state,
Wow.
as well as southern New Hampshire.
Wow. I didn't realize it extended out beyond the boundaries.
Yes.
It does.
Yes,
Wow.
it does. It does.
So you mentioned keeping busy, and one thing we talked about a couple of days ago in our pre-production meeting, transportation. How is that? How does that work? First of all, is it up to the families to transport, or is there transportation offered through CAPS?
So the transportation, for the most part, is not offered through CAPS, and it does not fall on the responsibility of the families. It falls
okay.
on the responsibility of the sending school district.
I see. Okay.
Because of the fact that they need to be placed in a program outside of their district, they're required to provide transportation.
Okay.
So we deal with all of the local transportation companies, Vanpool, you know, all of that. We do a very small route for one of our districts, but we're not really in the business of transportation. That's not a focus area.
Thank God, right?
Yeah, not a focus area in our collaborative. Some collaboratives do a big business in transportation. It's just not something that's been a focus for us.
Now, we're coming up to the summer of 2022, and CAPS has a rather significant, robust summer program. So let's get into that a little bit while we have some time left.
Sure.
When does that start, and what does that entail?
So it starts July 5th, and we run a 6-week program, 3 full days a week. So our students come to school Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, which is nice. Gives a little break for the students and the staff to have long weekends.
Sure, yeah.
The programming in all of our satellite programs is pretty much follows suit with what's happening in the regular school year, because it's really designed to help students not have any regression in their skills. And that stands the same for Gateway as well, but Gateway runs a little bit more like, we try to have it have a little bit more of like a camp atmosphere to give the kids a break. So they do some academics in the morning, making sure that, you know, we're not seeing any academic regression, but then the afternoon is really focused around social involvement, social engagement, collaboration among teams, things like that, because their area that we don't want to see regression in is their social
Sure.
interaction and their social skills. So it takes a little bit of a different focus, than the other programs. We go on field trips and
So it's a
we
fun,
bring
fun
field
summer.
trips in. Yes. Not all the kids would tell you that, but it's designed that way.
You talked earlier about the staff, and I wanted, because I feel strongly about shining light on the people around you. Tell us about the staff that you have, that you work with, and some of the challenges they have and how they've been met, particularly coming out of that 2-year pandemic period.
Yes. Our employees are the building block of this collaborative. We could not do what we do without their expertise.
Sure.
My goal in coming on, especially coming off of the pandemic, as well as the status of the job market, really has been to put our employees and their feeling valued at the top of our list. We want to retain the amazing staff that we have, and we want to attract people who want to come and work at an agency where they are supported and valued. Teaching is a challenging job anywhere, but the students that we serve are, have additional challenges. And the thing that I find amazing is that our staff choose to work here. They choose to get up every day and come into a job that on many, many days is incredibly challenging. So I can't say enough about them. We could not do what we do if it wasn't for the people that we have here.
If someone watching this show is interested, whether they be a parent, an educator, someone associated with a school district, where do they go for information?
So there's information about our programs on our website, which is capsed.net. Parents, we say they really need to start with the special education departments in their districts. Those people are their go-tos, and we'll always take an inquiry and share about our program, but really our process for enrollment is through referrals. So those need to come from the school district. So start there.
I have one final question that is not on the list.
Okay.
That came out of our conversation. You being a Fitchburg girl, correct? How is it? How's life in your family with a brother who is the head football coach at Leominster High School?
Oh boy. That has been, that's been a very interesting process. Fitchburg fans are pretty diehard.
Must make Thanksgiving interesting.
It does make Thanksgiving very interesting. And my brother's wife is a Leominster teacher, and my brother is a dean in Leominster as well. And, there's always been a fun banter between, my parents and them, but it's all in good fun, and we're so happy for what he's doing.
Sure.
He's doing something that he's passionate about and he loves, and, he's part of that community now, and we're happy for him.
Well, Jennifer, I want to thank you very much for agreeing to join us, and congratulate you on your career here, and to getting to the level where you are now as executive director. Congratulations on that, and
Thank you.
all the best.
Thank you
Thank
very
you for
much.
everything you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that.